Alright, this is my mint condition, all stock, 50,000 mile Mitsubishi Eclipse GST. It's still not a GSX, but we don't need to go into those fine details. So I've had this car for about 2 years, and it has been my daily driver. And you probably think DSM and daily driver don't go in the same sentence. Truth be told, it has been a good car. To quote Mark from Gears and Gasoline, it's a good car. Again, you still are probably thinking, why on earth would anyone daily drive? Sorry, I'm getting harassed by mosquitoes. Why on earth would someone ever daily drive a 28-year-old mint condition Eclipse? Anyways, back to my Oh, that's not good. That's a little loose there. It's fine. They don't need to know that. Yeah, sorry. Don't look at that. It's mint condition. So, what's done to the car? So, compared to a lot of DSMs, unfortunately, I would consider this one to be pretty stock. And what I mean by that is it just has, on the exterior, it's just got some wheels, tires, and coilovers for tight maneuvering through those twisty roads. It's got some other cosmetic things, but I mean, that's not, too important, just things. Inside, it literally just has a quick release wheel right here, a Pioneer AVH 3300 NEX steering wheel, head unit, I don't know where I got steering wheel from, and some gauge pods over there, and these cool knockoff eBay bucket seats. I probably should replace these. And then engine-wise, it just has an intake, a knockoff blow-off valve, a knockoff 16G turbo, knockoff headers. It does, however, have an Apexi, I think, World Sport exhaust. It's some kind of Apexi exhaust, I'm not 100% sure. So that's one name brand part, right, guys? So, I mean, horsepower-wise, I could not tell you. I would estimate somewhere between 250 and 280 because it's not tuned. And that is still pretty stock because I feel like DSMs are, at this point, pretty much all boosted to the moon. And the reason this is my daily driver is because it is mostly stock. It's just got bolt-on stuff to it, and most of it is OEM stuff, and it's been pretty well taken care of from what I understand about the car. This is a replaced transmission. I know you can't really see it, but this transmission was replaced under previous ownership with a used unit. I think it had like 88,000 miles on it. It's a 5-speed, of course, but it's got a fresh transmission, still the original engine on it, and it still pulls really strong. So the boost controller on it is also a knockoff, go figure, but it's also kind of messed up right now, and I need to replace it with a non-knockoff one. Anyways, the reason I bring that up is, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't limit my boost, because I think it's broken or something. And I know that on stock internals, 24 PSI is kind of like a danger zone. So I try not to do that. So when I'm flooring it, I can go to like 5,500 RPM, and then I stop because it hits like 20 PSI. And I am not going past that because I do not want to have my head and my block separate. That would not be good. That would be a sad day for me, and I would not have a car. But the reason this is my daily driver is because I don't have the means right now to have two cars. Maybe it is risky to daily drive a DSM. There's horror stories of them blowing up all the time. But there is a common denominator, I feel like, with DSMs in general. And to be honest, a lot of other popular sports cars from this era. And that is that they're either very not stock, or they're completely abused and just like, bouncing off the rev limiter 24/7. I don't do that with this car. I already talked about the boost thing, but even if it wasn't, I would not send it to 7,000 RPM. I would stop at like 5.5 to 6. That's where I would keep it anyways. And I don't do a pull every single time it's a red light. Only like, every now and then, like straight up. Like, because if you think about it, no car is going to be indestructible. If you think about how complex an engine is, something's going to break if you keep beating on it. The other variable I feel like with DSMs is ones that are super not stock and they're completely overbuilt. Either overbuilt or they're, just straight drag cars, or they're people who don't build them correctly. So like they don't put ARP head studs in a big turbo build, and then they separate the block in the head, blown engine, that kind of thing. Or it's maintenance, like timing belt maintenance and other various maintenance things on this car that aren't done right can lead to, being stuck in the side of the highway, and that's not good. Those two common denominators I feel like are linked with the unreliability of this car. And that same logic, I feel like, can be applied to other cars. The way I see it is take care of your car. Don't bounce off the rev limiter 24/7. You can have a fun pull now and then, but you don't need to be banging off 7,000 RPM, full on flat foot shifting 24/7. Just enjoy the car. What makes a drive fun for me is some music with this cool little stereo I've got here. Windows down, sunroof open, that kind of thing. I'm just cruising. I really don't need to be going 900 miles an hour. Maybe I do like taking corners a little faster than like an SUV, yeah, but I'm not trying to race people, This is, again, it's my daily driver. I'm trying to take care of it. on top of it being my daily driver, I also feel like it's just good to take care of your cars, you know? I want to be able to have this thing as long as possible. I don't ever want to sell it. This car is special to me. The fact that I got fortunate enough to find this really clean enough DSM is really, really hard to find, because these cars, you know, you can boost them to 600 horsepower and they look good and all that stuff, and they're cheap. People did buy them and then blow them up and crash them. They're not easy to find now, unfortunately. And that's a shame, because I love the DSM chassis. I really would love to own a GSX or a Talon TSI one day. TSI all-wheel drive. But for now, the GST is a perfect daily driver. And not to mention, some benefits of being a daily driver is it's really good on gas. I'll put the fuel economy on the screen. I don't know what it is. I think it's in the high 20s. It does have 4 seats, which is good. And to be fair, I have had to have more than 2 people in my car before. It's very rare, but, you know, it's good to have just in case. And that hatch back there is really big. You can stick a lot of stuff back there. I helped a friend move ones out of his apartment, and I put 2 tables back there. Completely fine. It just went in there. I mean, I fold the seats down in the back, and I also just want to talk about the Ford G63 in general. This kind of goes back to saying, like, DSMs aren't unreliable. I'm still a believer that DSMs are not unreliable. I think they're just as reliable as any other sports car, or even any, like, other cars, minus, like, the Civic. That's a different level of reliability. A more stock Ford G63, or more stock engine in general, is probably going to be more reliable. It's not like a manufacturer, I mean, besides Jeep. Everyone knows Jeep's break in the driveway. But every normal car is kind of made with an expectation that it's going to go, you know? Sure, there's probably a whole argument of things are meant to break, but especially in the 90s, like, it's a car. It's an engine. If you're being nice to it, it's not going to be chronically unreliable. So why did I choose the DSM chassis? Well, to be completely honest, I'm a huge fan of the 90s kind of Japanese sports cars. I would say JDM cars would be my favorite pick, with probably, I would say Euro would be my second pick for sure. American Muscle is cool, but that's just not my thing. But the DSM chassis, a lot of the cars I did like most of them had one big thing I didn't like. For the VQ platforms, yeah, I know I made jokes about them, but I mean, they are good cars. For me, I just didn't want to deal with the reputation of the VQ engine, you know? And also, I just didn't like the sound of V6s in general. I still really don't, but I mean, there's some good sounding ones, so I can't get mad at that. I mean, F1 cars are now V6 engines. The 3000 GT, that was one I really did want a lot. I think what scared me away the most is the engine bay is super cramped in there, and I was scared that if I did have to fix something, I wouldn't be able to do it. And that logic kind of got thrown out the window with this thing, because the driver's side of this car, the Eclipse, is it's a little tight. Just a little bit. I definitely want to have an Evo one day, but this, to be fair, is a very good taste to me of an Evo. My dad actually used to have I want to say it was a 2012 or something. Anyways, my dad actually had an Evo 10 GSR, and it was tuned. I'll put some pictures on the screen. So he, and I was a lot younger then, but I definitely remember sitting in the back and being like, man, this thing is fast. And I kind of wish he still had it now. But, I mean, now he has a R34 GTT, so, I mean, kind of an upgrade. And he also had a Mark IV Supra with the legit Fast and Furious body kit off the movie set, but he had a certificate of authenticity. And now that car is somewhere in Idaho because I VIN checked it. Yeah, I want that car back, and I'm probably not going to get it back. But he bought that before I was born, so, I mean, he sold it, like, I want to say 13 years ago he sold it, so I absolutely love the styling of the DSMs. The front end, to me, I think, is one of my favorite designs of a car. The front end of a DSM is so aggressive. I used to have a front lip on the front. It got eaten by the driveway in the snow. I don't want to talk about it. It's got that really low kind of just low appearance in general. The big wing on the back kind of looks like the Supra wing. The styling of the DSM is awesome. The Ford G63 is amazing. I love that. And this might have been a stupid thing to like, but I love cockpit style interiors. So obviously the DSM kind of has a pretty angular one, not the quite level of like an RX-7 or a Supra, but it's pretty angular to me, and I like it a lot. I definitely want to keep building upon this car. So, which also leads me to say this, guys, a restoration is in the works. So I currently have a KBD body kit. I don't know if it has a name. I know it's a knockoff of like I think it's called the Robocar body kit. Anyways, it looks like the Fast and Furious Eclipse body kit. It's a replica of it, but KBD kits are awesome because they can flex, they can fold, and you're not going to crack them or anything. So we're going to get that on the car, and we are going to do a black wrap on the car. So we'll have a fully blacked out car because I already got my black wheels. We'll have a black wrap, and then I'm working on getting this interior swapped to black. I think I found some interior panels that I can swap out, which will be great. And then I have a slew of mechanical things to work on. The only things that are really broken with this car is there's an oil leak on the driver's cam side because my valve cover is not sealed right or whatever. I think the RTV is messed up. So I have a new valve cover ready to go on, and then the power steering pump, go figure, that's common in DSMs, it leaks, and it drips onto I think the alternator belt, makes it squeal. It's a whole mess. But I have a whole reseal kit for the power steering pump, so I'll be able to get that fixed, and it'll be nice. Once those two things are fixed, it's pretty much good to go. There's no really other problems with the car that I know of. It needs an alignment, but I think at one point this car was in the shop for a power steering rack replacement, and I don't think they did a very good job because when we took it to get an alignment, they said the rack is crooked, and I don't know what that means. So, but I'm not doing anything with the power steering rack underneath the jack stands. So, I mean, just whatever. But yeah, that is my 1997 Mitsubishi Eclipse GST. I just want to say thank you guys for all the support y'all have given me on these videos. I know it's not a lot. I've only got 680 something subscribers, but it really has been my dream for the longest time to do YouTube. And I want to keep going for you guys. I want to continue to make amazing and entertaining content for you guys. So please let me know what you would like to see in the comments. Let me know if you want me to do skits, if you want me to roast people. Do you want me to just talk about cars? I mean, I don't know if that's interesting, but if you guys want to hear me babble about cars, I can do that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe.